What's going on YouTube? Welcome to the U.S.S. Voyager tutorial Season 1 Episode 10. I'm Zero Elite and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we've got about a 13-minute episode. We're going to be picking up where we left off, fleshing out our lower hull. We're also going to be making another adjustment to the backbone of the neck. Now, before I get started, and I've noticed this on some other tutorials, when I'm doing these, I think some people don't see that as we go, we're going to be making changes to this build. So if some of the things that I'm doing right now don't make sense, you know, you can ask, but you have to understand that I'm showing you guys a raw version of this tutorial and how to build this ship. So that means we're going to show the mistakes and our process to get where we need to be. The reason I do this is because this is the most realistic way I can show you how to build these ships out. I'm not perfect. 9 times out of 10 I don't build stuff out where it comes out perfectly the first time. So what I'll say with that is just be patient. Stick with me through the tutorial series. If something doesn't look right or if I made a mistake somewhere, stick with me, because as we go, we're going to be making adjustments. We're going to be coming back to stuff and working on it. This is why I say sometimes you got to throw something down to see how it looks before you get an idea of where you need to end up. And also, if I do make an error somewhere, this is why I always say it's important to double check your work, because I do go back and check that, and we'll be making revisions to it. But anyway, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So we started working on the angle for the next layer of our lower hull. I didn't like how this middle part from the middle upward looked, so we're going to be deleting that just from the middle part up. Yeah, I don't like how this arches, and I know it's going to get dark for a second, but I am going to add another sea lantern to brighten it up. I'm usually pretty good about this. Sometimes I do get tunnel vision and I forget to throw down a light source for dark areas. So if that happens, I apologize, but do me a favor, just remind me in the comment section, just so I stay in the back of my mind that that's something that I do need to do. But 9 times out of 10, I'm usually pretty good about it. So basically what I've done here is I've just continued on my pattern of 2 to fix this, and we're just doing 2 2 with the cut. So we go 2 up and then with the cut, and this is an easy update. I'm not gonna lie, getting that cut line right with the angle of the ship and everything, this wasn't necessarily a pain, but it took me a little bit to get it where I wanted it to be. Now we're starting to get to the point where the ship is going to ultimately look. Now what we are going to do, when we were doing our initial outline, I was telling you guys that down here we're going to have to make adjustments to our template because of the cut line 2 and 2. They're not going to match up. So I'm going to show you guys how we're going to fix that. In order to basically do that, we're just going to bring that gray line over until it meets the next cut on the gray. For some reason there, I just kept having problems, kept deleting that white block. Alright, we're going to let this play out. We're going to do the bottom row, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, you know, I do notice this quite a bit, where, you know, this is why I say, if you see me making changes or if something doesn't look right, this is one of the reasons why I'm putting out my tour video before my tutorial series, because I want you guys to be able to see what the finished ship is going to look like, so you can have a clearer idea of the things that we're going to be doing. But one of the ways that I learn on Minecraft and also get an idea of things that I need to do, you have to throw something down sometimes if you're not 100% sure. This can help you with your proportions. This can also give you a great idea if you basically what's missing of what you need to do to make it look better. And this is very vital for me in my building process, because, you know, I'll throw something down, I'll see how it looks, and then what I do, I go back and I look at my 3D model and I reference that based off what I have, and then I try to come up with a game plan on what I need to fix. So all this stuff is really important because this is the meat of it when it gets into realistically building out a ship like this and what it takes. I really try to make a point to show you guys my entire process, because if I don't show you guys these things, I'm shortchanging you, because I'm not showing you a realistic tutorial on how to build this, because these are things that you're going to run into when you're working on your own ships. I had somebody that they were having problems with the Sovereign class, and they were building it out, and I was able to use Voyager as an example on things that they needed to do to make the saucer work, and ironically enough, those suggestions I told them worked out. But you know, that's why I said, like, just take your time with this, stick with me. This stuff will make sense over a period of time. But you have to understand that I only have so much time in each episode that I can get stuff done. So that's why I say, like, just let the tutorial series play out. Trust me. If you like how the tour episode looked of Voyager, and that's the ship that you want to make, stick with me, because we're going to get there. There's just going to be certain things that we're going to have to do, certain adjustments we're going to have to make to get us exactly where we need to be. So now getting back in a little bit what we got going on here, you can see that we're going to be stretching out our lower hull by 4 blocks. This top row, we're going to bring that going straight across to the other side until we meet that other cut line. Because anything above this, that's our hull for our saucer. Now I'm only going to do the top part here. I'm not going to build out the bottom half live. But you want to continue this on going all the way around the outline of your circle for the lower hull. So we've got it on the bottom and the top. So now I'm going to skip ahead to where we've completed that, and now we're going to move on to the next step. Now that bottom row looks janky, so I'm going to show you how to fix that. So now we're going to stretch it out again by 4. We're basically going to repeat the same process that we just had, and you're going to see there on the left side it's not matching up, but what really matters here is this bottom row going off of this and building out, adding another row of 4. This is something else I notice sometimes. Like, I'll have people that really don't have a lot of patience. They'll see me make a mistake and they'll try to use that as justification on why I don't know what I'm talking about. I do. That's just why, like I say, it's a trial and error period sometimes. So now what we're going to be doing is now we're going to add another layer going right up to this cut line. We're not going to be stretching this out anymore. We're just going to be building off of that lip of our gray block. We're going to be doing this going all the way around. And all we're doing is bringing it up to our cut line. So once you get that cut line, stop. We're going to do that going all the way around on both sides, left and right. Now this first row here, I do kind of shotgun this out because I'm building it up to this blue build line here. The next row I am going to count this out. I'm not going to count it out live with you guys, but I'm just going to do it slow enough that you guys can keep up with me. But really the gust of this, you guys should have these blue builder lines as well, so you really don't need to count this out. You just need to build up to that blue builder line. But for those of you that need this or want it, this is why I'm building or counting that out slowly, just so if you need it. And that next part, I want to go back to as I just kind of skip over to the next. So what we're doing here is now we're stretching it out again off of the outer lip, not the inner one, because you see that this last section here, it's too thick, and I mean 2 blocks thick. So we're going off of the outer one, not the inner one. You're going to stretch that out going all the way up to this build line. You're going to do this going all the way around. Alright, so now we're going to transition into the last part of today's episode. We're going to be making another adjustment to our neck. And even this, what we do here, this is going to get us closer to where we're ultimately going to end up. But if I'm not mistaken, I think we're going to be making one last revision to the outline of the backbone before we end up where we need to be. But this is a great example of me saying we're going to throw something down to see how it looks. Because again, what I'm doing, I'm going back, I'm going to try to work out a new template, and I'm going to go back to my reference material to look at it to see if it matches. But look, I'm just going to throw this out there ahead of time. There's other stuff that we have to do to the backbone. So again, just stay with me. Let's do this process, and then we're going to be coming back to the neck, and we'll be fleshing that out. This is honestly, it's just, I can't stress enough how vital something like this is. Doing this trial and error process. Because if you're not doing this on your build, I'm trying to figure out a way to describe it. It's just this process in itself is so helpful in getting you in the direction that you need to ultimately end up in. I don't know anybody that builds something out and they're so good at building that they can just do it perfectly, the first time around with no problems at all, and it's a mega build. Maybe there's some people out there that can build that good, and look, I have never ever claimed to be a builder of that caliber. I'd say I'm decent. I'm probably my own worst critic in regards to that, but for me, building with some things, if it's difficult, yeah, there's going to be a trial and error period, because if it doesn't come out the way that I want it to, I'm going to keep working on it until I'm happy with it. And I've found doing this, this is why my ships come out so good, because I'm willing to try different things, and I'm also willing to throw myself out there and show my entire process. Because again, you know, the whole point of this is to show you guys everything that I do to try to get you on my level so you can learn to build the way that I do. And the only way that I know how to do that is just to show the entire process. So we're going to get there. You know, it's just going to take a little bit of time in some areas that we need to spend that extra time with developing it until we land on a spot that we need to. Now, the good thing about this, what I'm doing right now with the neck, is that this isn't going to be our final outline for it. But this is, we're starting to get to the point of where I'm going to be making maybe 1 or 2 more revisions, and then we're going to actually build it out. I did this on the Enterprise D. Any build, honestly, that if I'm not satisfied on it, like those of you that do my tutorials, like I tell you ahead of time, look, this is going to be a trial and error period. You know what I mean? The ship is going to look pretty good when she's done. We're going to add a couple more rows, and then we're going to call it a day for today's episode. Doesn't seem like we got a lot done, but believe it or not, we did, because we're getting a next pass at our backbone for our neck to see what else we need to do. We've also added in several layers to our lower hull, and from here it's just going to be continuing on and building that out, because now we're at a point to where we need to do 2 things. We have to develop the backbone of the neck as we develop the lower section of the lower hull, because all of this kind of has to come together because of the way that Voyager's designed. Because when you're looking at the ship, the saucer, the neck, and the lower hull, I mean, it's all technically one piece. So this is not a super easy build to do. You know what I mean? But going through these steps, we are going to get there. And don't worry, I got you guys. We're going to go over this step by step. And I know somebody had asked me about the overall pattern on the lower hull for the left and right side. When we start to flesh out the actual, when we go in and actually add in our hull and close that in, I'm going to show you guys what I do as a way to basically check my work and count everything out. One of the things that we do is our blue builder lines, but it's going to be our cut lines as we go row to row. So we will be fixing that. But we're looking pretty good so far. Voyager's getting there. Really happy with the progress that we're making. And we're just going to bang this thing out one episode at a time until we land where we need to land. But I think that's going to do it for me today. If you guys have any questions at all regarding today's episode, drop a comment below. I definitely love hearing from everybody, even if it's just to say, hey, if there's any build suggestions that you guys want to see me do, be sure to drop a comment below. Bear in mind, I need a lot of small build ideas so I can do my mini-series. Because I want to be able to put out those small builds for you guys while I'm doing Voyager. So if you have any small build suggestions that you want to see, drop a comment below. Let me know in the comments section. Also, do you want to see Voyager Season 2, where we get into the interior on this ship and do the last minute exterior adjustments? I need to know in the comments section, because if I don't have a lot of people asking me, and if I'm not getting like a ton of views on the Voyager tutorial, I'm just going to move on to the next thing. This will be a one and done. Also, some upcoming stuff. We've got the Excelsior 2 class tutorial, which I'm currently working on right now. I've got an update video that's going to be coming out for you guys. Actually, by the time this video drops, that update video will already be out. So make sure to check that out for the update for the Excelsior 2 class so you can see my progress. I have a new mini-series that's going to be coming out. It's the Outrider YT-2400 from Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. This is going to be a 4-part mini-series that's going to be releasing in addition to Voyager. That'll be coming out over the next 4 weeks. So if you're excited about that, that's going to be coming out for you guys. We've also got the Enterprise D Season 2 that I'm working on. I still need to catch up to where I was before we're going to get to a point that we do that, but that is going to be coming up. And more probably closer to release is going to be our Enterprise A 1.1 tutorial. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, that tutorial, we're going to be doing that. So those of you that have been waiting for that tutorial, once we hit 1,000, we're going to be doing it. We are so close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. So if you can help me out, share my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, like these videos. Yeah, once we hit that number, we'll be doing it. But I think that's going to wrap it up for me today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section.